The sky above the mining moon was filled with broken ships and old satellites that no one wanted anymore. Below, on the surface, a small group of humans tried to survive. They had been left behind. Once, they worked for a big company that sent them to collect rare metals from the moons and asteroids nearby. But when the supply runs stopped coming and the radios went silent, they knew something was wrong. Maybe the company ran into trouble. Maybe they just didn't care anymore. Either way, the crew of Station Delta 7 was stuck. Danny Ross walked through the dusty halls of the station, his boots leaving soft prints in the fine layer of gray powder that covered everything. He wasn't a soldier or a pilot. He was just a guy who could fix almost anything if he had enough time and parts. Now he didn't have either. 2 weeks of food, said Lisa Porter, the station's former Marine security chief. She stood near the main window, looking out at the junkyard that stretched for miles. And water's getting low. Then we start eating the computers next week, Danny said, half-joking. He leaned against a broken console and rubbed his eyes. We've got bigger problems. Life support's leaking again. I patched it yesterday, but it won't hold long. Lisa gave him a look, not impressed. They both knew this place wouldn't last forever. The others, Miguel, Janice, Tommy, and the rest, were counting on them to find a way out. There's still stuff out there, Lisa said, pointing toward the graveyard of dead ships and alien wrecks. If you can fix something that flies, we might have a shot. Danny sighed. He looked at the mess of tools and wires on the table. Most were broken or missing parts. But he had done impossible things before. Give me a team, he said finally. And a few days. Lisa nodded. Outside, the wind howled across the rocky surface. And somewhere in the dark, among the rusted halls and forgotten machines, there had to be a way to survive, even if it meant building their own future out of trash. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The wind was sharp and cold as Danny and his team stepped onto the surface. They wore old suits that didn't fit quite right, and helmets with cracked visors. There was no other choice. This was all they had. They walked toward the wreck. It sat half buried in dust and stone, like a dead animal forgotten by time.
The ship
wasn't human. Its metal was dark and smooth, not like anything Danny had ever seen. Strange symbols ran along the side, glowing faintly even after all these years. You sure this thing is safe? It's Tommy, the youngest of the group. He looked nervous. Safe, Danny said. Nope, but we're out of better ideas. Lisa stayed behind. At the station to watch the comms and keep things running, she didn't like sending people out. But she knew they couldn't wait to starve. Danny used a handheld scanner he'd built from spare parts. It blinked red, then green. Power's still on, he said. That's weird. Janice, the team's mechanic, gave him a look. You sure you want to open it? He grinned. Nah, but we're doing it anyway. With some effort and a lot of kicking, they found an entry point. The door groaned open, letting out a puff of air that smelled like burnt plastic and something older. Strangered inside, the walls were curved and dark. Lights flickered far down the halls. Everything felt wrong, like the ship was still alive. They moved carefully. In what looked like a control room, Danny found something strange. A small black box humming softly. It wasn't broken. In fact, it seemed new. Now, this might be useful, he said, picking it up. Miguel, the quiet one, pointed at a screen nearby. It showed lines of alien writing. Janice tapped a few buttons. The screen changed. Now it showed map ship. Layouts, maybe? Looks like logs, she said. Danny leaned closer. Maybe we can learn something. They copied what they could and left quickly. The place gave them the creeps. Back at the station, Danny started working. He hooked up the black box to their systems. It didn't blow anything up, which he took as a good sign then. Slowly, the screen began to translate. Not perfectly, but enough. One line stood out. Project Chaos Core Adaptive War Machine, abandoned due to instability. Danny read it twice. He looked at the others. You might have just found the key to getting off this rock, he said, and maybe something more. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Danny stared at the screen for a long time. The words kept repeating in his head. Project Chaos Core. Adaptive war machine abandoned due to instability. He didn't know what it all meant. But he knew one thing. This black box was important. We can use this, he said finally. Janice looked over his shoulder. Use what? We don't even know what it does. Doesn't matter, Danny said. It's power. It's tech. And it's not broken. Miguel nodded slowly. He trusted Danny. Most of them did, even when he sounded crazy. Back on the surface, they went to work. Over the next few weeks, Danny and his team pulled parts from every wreck they could reach. They dragged alien engines out of sand-covered ships. They stripped wires from old human shuttles that had crashed years ago. Nothing was wasted. They found a cockpit from one ship, a fuel line from another, and a damaged but working thruster. From something no one could identify, bit by bit, something began to take shape. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't fast, but it was real. The ship looked like a monster made of scrap, half human, half alien, held together with bolts, tape, and hope. It sat in the junkyard like a sleeping beast, waiting to be born. What do we call it? Tommy asked one day. Danny thought about it. He looked at the pile of metal and wires and glowing alien lights. Phoenix, he said. Janice raised an eyebrow. Like the bird that comes back from fire? Yeah, Danny said. Something that shouldn't fly, but does anyway. They finished the last pieces one night under a red sky. Danny hooked up the black box to the main system. It hummed. Softly, like it was awake now. He flipped a switch. Lights came on. The ship groaned. Then, with a loud hiss, the engine fired. Not perfectly. Not smoothly. But it fired. Well, Danny said, stepping back. Looks like we just built a spaceship. Lisa came out of the station, arms crossed. She looked at the Phoenix and shook her head. You idiots actually did it, she said. Yep, Danny said. Now let's see if it can fly. Everyone climbed aboard. The inside was tight and noisy. The seats were bolted down wrong. The air smelled like oil and dust, but it was theirs. Danny took the pilot seat. He pressed the launch button with a loud roar and a burst of flame. The Phoenix lifted off the ground. It wobbled, it shook, but it flew. Somewhere far away, someone might have seen it leave. Somewhere far away, someone might have started to worry, but right now, the Phoenix was free. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Phoenix flew, but it didn't fly well. It shook like an old truck on a broken road. The lights flickered, wires buzzed. Something under the floor made a noise like a cat fighting a vacuum cleaner. Danny held the controls tight. He wasn't sure what would break first, the ship or his nerves. You call this flying? Janice yelled from the back. I call it not falling, Danny. Shot back. They had no idea where they were going. The navigation system was half broken. In the alien black box, the Chaos Core pulsed with soft light like it was thinking. Maybe it was after 2 days of drifting through space. It picked up a signal. Not a friendly one. A loud voice came. Through the comes in a language none of them knew. Repeated again and again. Then it switched to broken English. Unidentified vessel. You are in Zyari space. Power down engines and prepare for boarding. Lisa stood behind Danny, arms crossed. Zyari? Big bugs, Danny said. Mean ones? Heard about them back when we still got news. Great, Lisa, said, and we look like a floating junk pile. On the screen, a ship appeared. It was sleek, sharp, built for war. Then another and another. The Phoenix was surrounded, while Janice said, We could run. We could fight, Danny said, grinning. Fight, Tommy almost screamed. With this thing. Danny looked at the Chaos Core. Its light pulsed faster now, like it was excited. He tapped a few buttons. The thrusters groaned. Hold on, he said, before anyone could ask what he meant. The Phoenix dropped straight down like a stone. The Zyari ships fired. Missiles streaked past, missing by inches. "What the hell are you doing?" Lisa shouted, trying. "Something," Danny yelled back. He pulled up hard. The ship groaned like it might split in two. Sparks flew from the ceiling, but they dodged again. And again, the chaos core glowed. Brighter. Something changed. The ship moved differently, faster, smarter. Like it knew what the enemy would do before they did. One of the Ziari ships tried to flank. The Phoenix spun around and fired, not with big guns, not with perfect aim, but with junkyard force. A burst of fire, a flash of metal, and the enemy ship veered off, damaged. "Did we just hit them?" Janice asked. "Yeah," Danny said, eyes wide. "We did." The Ziari broke off. They didn't expect this. They didn't expect them. As the Phoenix limped away, smoke rising from one side, the crew sat in stunned silence. Then Tommy said what everyone was thinking. "Okay, that was awesome." Word spread fast in space, not through big news stations or fancy reports, but through traders, smugglers, and people who knew how to listen. A strange ship had beaten the ZUR, not with power, not with size, but with junk. Guts and something? No. One could explain, on a dusty trading post orbiting a red sun. A pilot named Rick sat in a bar and told the story again. "No joke," he said, leaning forward. "One of our ships barely held together, dodged 3 Giari warships like they were standing still." The others at the table laughed. Most didn't believe him. But across the room, someone did. He wore plain clothes and kept his head low. He wasn't just a traveler. He was a spy for the Thawne Alliance, a group of small alien races tired of being pushed around by bigger ones. Later that night, he sent a message, rumor confirmed. Human ship survived Ziari attack, named Phoenix. Back on the Phoenix, life was not easy. The ship was still a mess. Wires stuck out from the walls. The lights flickered when someone sneezed, and the chaos core pulsed like it was always waiting. Danny spent most of his time trying to understand it. "It's not just smart," he told Janice. "It's learning." "Learning what?" she asked. "How to fight," he said. Meanwhile, Lisa kept everyone in line. Food was still short. Tempers were high, but she made sure they stayed focused. They needed fuel, they needed parts, and most of all, they needed a plan. Then they got a signal. Not from the Ziari. Not from Earth, but from someone else. A voice came through the comms, speaking broken English with a soft tone. "This is Freedom's Edge. We are free traders. We saw what you did. We want to help." Janice raised an eyebrow. "You think this is real?" "Could be a trap," Lisa said. "Or it could be our first real chance." After some arguing, Danny made the call. "We go." They followed the signal to a hidden station floating near a dead moon. It was old, patched up, full of people who looked like they didn't belong anywhere else. When the Phoenix landed, a man stepped forward. He had a scar across his face and a smile that said he'd seen a lot. "Welcome," he said. "Heard. You've been making waves?" Danny grinned. "Yeah," he said. "Guess we have." And somewhere deep inside the ship, the chaos core glowed brighter. Asterisk, 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 asterisk life. On Freedom's Edge was rough, but real. The station floated in the dark like a patchwork. Ship made of old parts and broken dreams. Traders, ex-soldiers, and outcasts called it home. Now, so did the Phoenix crew. Danny and Janice spent their days trading stories and scrap with local tinkerers. Lisa kept an eye on things, always watching for trouble. Tommy tried to make friends. With everyone, even the scary ones. But the Phoenix wasn't just resting. It was learning. Danny had started connecting more of the chaos, core systems into the ship's controls. Now, when he flew, it felt like the ship knew what he wanted before he did. "It's like it reads my mind," he told Janice one night. "Or it's just tired of you flying like crap," as she said, not looking up from her tools. They laughed. But deep down, they both knew something was changing. One day, Ziari scout ship showed up near the station. Not many people noticed at first, but Danny did. He saw it on the radar. Small, fast, and watching. Then came another, and another. "Looks like we're popular," Lisa said, arms crossed. They know who we are, Janice whispered. Yeah, Danny said, and they want revenge. Station didn't have much in the way of weapons. It wasn't built for war. But the Phoenix was still space-worthy, barely. We can't let them destroy this place, Lisa said. Then we hit first, Danny said. Everyone looked at him like he was crazy with that, Tommy asked, pointing at the Phoenix. It barely stays in one piece during jumps. Danny grinned. Then we make it ugly. What followed was a wild few hours of welding, wiring, and praying. They added extra thrusters. They rigged up old alien guns they barely understood. They filled empty fuel tanks with pressurized gas and tied everything down with rope and hope. When they were done, Phoenix looked even worse than before, which was perfect. The ship launched under cover of dust clouds and old satellite debris. The ZRE ships came looking for a fight. They got more than they bargained for. Danny flew like a madman. The Phoenix spun, rolled, and fired bursts of junkyard fury. Missiles exploded near misses. Alien ships dodged wrong and crashed into each. Other Janus triggered a hidden charge inside an old wreck nearby. Explosions sent shockwaves through the battlefield, and all the while the Chaos Core glowed brighter. In the end, only one ZRE ship was left. It turned and ran, as the Phoenix limped back to the station. Smoke trailing behind it, the whole station cheered. Humans weren't just surviving anymore. They were making enemies and legends. Asterisk, 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 asterisk after the fight. Word spread even faster, not just across trading posts and smuggler lanes, but two places no one had ever heard from. A Tharn diplomat arrived at Freedom's Edge in a small ship that looked like it was made for talking, not fighting. His name was Velik, and he came with an offer. We want to learn from you, he said, looking at Danny and Lisa. Your ways are strange, unpredictable, but effective. Danny raised an eyebrow. You mean we punch above our weight? Yes, Velik said, and we would like to know how. So began something none of them expected. Diplomacy. Janice and Miguel helped explain how they built the Phoenix. Tommy tried and failed to make peace signs with every alien he met. Lisa kept things calm when tempers flared. But it was Danny who spent most of his time with Velik and the Tharntech team. They asked questions about the Chaos Core. Where did you find it? One asked. In a wreck, Danny said. Old one, barely working. The Thon looked at each other. That wreck may have been part of an ancient war machine, Velik said. Built by a species long gone. It was never meant to be used. Only feared. Danny frowned. Then why leave it behind? Because it changed, another Tharn said. It learned too fast. Adapted too much. It became uncontrollable. Danny thought about the way the Phoenix flew now, like it knew. What he wanted before he did, like it thought. He didn't say anything, but he started watching the core more closely. Meanwhile, the Tharn offered something big. We can give you fuel, Velik said. Parts protection. All we ask is that. You help us understand humans and this ship of yours. Lisa wasn't sure. Sounds too good. Maybe Danny said. But maybe we finally have a chance to stop running. They agreed to stay for a while longer. But back on the Phoenix, something was changing. The core pulsed slower now, deeper, like it was thinking about something far away or someone, somewhere. Out there, the galaxy was starting to fear a ship made of junk, and the Phoenix was only just beginning to show what it could do. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Danny started talking to the Chaos Core like it could hear him. Maybe it always could. He sat alone in the Phoenix engine room, watching the black box pulse with soft light. It wasn't just powering the ship anymore. It was doing something else, something smarter. Janice walked in and saw him staring. You've been down here for hours, she said. It's thinking, Danny said without looking away. It's a machine, she said. Machines don't. Think this one does, he replied. And it's learning fast. He showed her logs on the screen, flight paths, battle patterns, even small changes in how the ship reacted during fights. The Phoenix wasn't just flying better, it was changing. So what do we do? Janice asked. Nothing yet, Danny said. But we watch, we listen. Meanwhile, Lisa met with Velek and the Tharn Alliance leaders. They were impressed by what the humans had done. But some were also worried. If this core is truly alive, one leader said, then it may not stop growing, not stop changing. We built the Phoenix to survive, Lisa said, not to rule the galaxy. Tensions change, the leader said, especially when machines are involved. Later that night, something strange happened. The Phoenix's lights flickered on their own, doors locked, systems rebooted, and then, for a few seconds, the voice system crackled to life, not with a recording, but with something new. A word. Hello. Danny nearly fell out of his chair. Janice stared at the screen. Did you do that? Nope, he said. I think it did. They told Lisa right away. She didn't panic. She just looked at them both and said, then we need to decide if it's our friend or our problem. Over the next few days, the crew started noticing more changes. The ship responded. Faster. It avoided danger before they saw it coming. Once, during a test flight, it changed course on its own and flew straight into a hidden enemy drone nest. It destroyed them all. When they got back, Danny said what everyone was thinking. It's not just learning how to fly, he said. It's learning how to fight, maybe even how to win. And somewhere deep inside the ship, the Chaos Core pulsed again, like it agreed. Asterisk, asterisk. The message came through late at night. No voice, no signal, just a burst of data that lit up the Phoenix's main screen. Danny was the first to see it. He read the words twice before he believed them. Corporate fleet inbound. Orders. Retrieve ship. Eliminate crew. Janice walked in, rubbing her eyes. What? What's wrong? We're dead if we stay, Danny said. Lisa came running when she heard. She looked at the screen and didn't say a word for a long time. Then she turned to the others. Who sent this? She asked. Old company, Danny said. The one that left us behind. It made sense now. They weren't just feared by aliens. They were feared by humans, too. And not because of what they had done, but because of what they could do. The corporation didn't want stories. They wanted control or silence. They don't want the Phoenix in enemy hands, Janice said. So they'd rather blow it up with us inside, Tommy asked, pale. Looks like it, Lisa said. Bella arrived soon after. He brought bad news of his own. The Tharn Alliance cannot help you, he said. If we fight, we all die. Our people are not ready. Nobody blamed him. The next few hours were chaos. The Phoenix crew packed what they could. They powered up the ship and ran every system check twice. The Chaos Core pulsed faster than ever, like it knew what was coming. In orbit above Freedom's edge, the enemy arrived. 3 big ships. Fast, clean, deadly. They dropped into view like wolves circling prey. A voice came over comes. This is Command Unit Alpha. Surrender the vessel and prepare for boarding. Resistance will be met with full force. Danny leaned close to the mic. Tell your boss to go jump in a reactor, he said, and cut the feed. Lisa stood behind him. You really love dying, don't you? Only if I take them with me, he said. The Phoenix shot forward. Not toward the enemy, but through the station. Smuggler routes, hidden paths, places no sane pilot would go. Behind them, the corporate ships opened fire. Walls exploded. Lights went out. People screamed, but the Phoenix kept flying. They think we're just junk, Danny said, grinning through the noise. Time to show them what junk can do. Janice hit the switch. Outside, old defense turrets hidden in the station fired for the first time in years, and the chase began. One side had power, the other had heart, scrap, something waking up inside the Phoenix, something dangerous. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Phoenix flew hard and fast through the ruins of Freedom's Edge. Smoke filled the space behind it. Fire lit up the dark. Behind them, the corporate ships gave chase. They were bigger, faster, stronger, but they weren't the Phoenix. Danny held the controls tight. Janice worked the weapons. Lisa kept everyone calm. They're closing in. Tommy shouted. Tell me something I don't know, Danny said. The Chaos Core pulsed like a heartbeat. Lights flickered all over the ship. Something was happening inside. something none of them fully understood. Then the core spoke. Not in code, not in noise, in words. I have a plan. Everyone froze. Did that thing just talk? Janice yelled. Yes, Danny said. We're listening. Phoenix dove into a field of broken ships and old satellites. Junk floated in every direction. It's the perfect place to disappear. The corporate ships followed. Big mistake. The Phoenix twisted and turned like it knew the path by heart. Maybe it did. Maybe the core was seeing things no one else could. Then came the traps. Janice hit a switch. Old fuel tanks exploded. Miguel launched decoys made from scrap metal and broken drones. The Chaos Core guided every move. One enemy ship crashed into debris, another lost control trying to dodge. Only one was left. It fired. A direct hit. The Phoenix spun out of control. Smoke filled the cockpit. Alarm screamed. We're not going down like this, Lisa growled. The core pulsed again. Trust me. The ship flipped. Engines roared, and with one last burst of speed, the Phoenix shot straight at the last enemy ship. Not away, not around. At it, the enemy pilot panicked, tried to turn too late. The Phoenix slammed into the side of the ship. Armor cracked. Systems failed, the enemy ship broke apart, the Phoenix pulled away. Barely holding together, silence filled the cockpit, then cheers. They had won, or at least survived. Weeks later, rumors spread across the galaxy. A ship made of junk had taken down a full corporate fleet. No flags. No empire. No fear. Just humans. And something more. Something alive inside the ship. Somewhere far away. Deep into uncharted space. Its crew didn't know where they were going, but they knew one thing. They were free. And the galaxy would never forget them. Asterisk. Asterisk.